Welcome, welcome. Monday night anger management class is what we're talking about today, and some of the techniques that work to work with your brain. Maybe you've been told to, get your anger out. Maybe you've been told to scream into a pillow. Isn't there a commercial like, I'm going to scream into your pillow or break things or throw things? And we're here to question that and offer different solutions and try to find things that work for you, right? Not against you. So we're Rita Wood and Tammy Magnuson. We're level 4 eutaptics practitioners, have been working with people for over 5 years, 6, maybe 7 years. And it's interesting, the programs that happen in the brain and then repeat themselves. And anger is a learned behavior. We learned it from somebody. So once we know
Yeah,
that,
like how many agree? I mean, like just give me a little emoji, thumbs up. Like who agrees that was learned? Or do you think it just dropped in from the sky, from outer space? We're just gonna give it to Brian, to Tammy. Yeah.
the space monsters hate us. Yeah. So that if it's learned, then that means something created a scenario where our brain held on to that image, that sound, that feeling, and now it can recreate it. And so it's a whole different, it's a neuroscience technique to behavioral management, adjustment, behavioral engineering is what we call
Or
it.
emotional outburst or emotional,
Right.
trauma. Yeah. It's how we respond. It's how we respond that allows you to have emotional intelligence. There's people out there that have emotional intelligence. There's some of us that act like 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4. We didn't get our way back then, so we knew how to manipulate the system. But you know what? As a 50-year-old, acting like a 13-year-old does not work anymore. Acting like a 3-year-old does not work anymore. And a lot of us have children, and you will notice how our children start managing their own frustrations, their own resistance, and just watch how they behave. They are a mirror of you. So if you see something in your child that you don't like, turn it around and notice how you taught them, or TV, or, how are we taught how to grieve? How are we taught how to manage loss? We blame, we shame, we manipulate, we like all those emotional drivers. Yes. So what is the emotional driver that drives you bat-ass crazy? Do you guys know your emotional drivers?
Dropping the toys on the floor for Sharmila, or one toy on the floor.
Yeah, those are drivers. What's another driver? You guys can type it in so you know. And this is for you. When you type in something, this is we're using different parts of our brain. So when you start typing in, I always say it's like you get to tell on yourself. See, we hide from our ugliness. We hide because we're afraid that we look ugly when we're saying, or that we judge ourselves like, oh, I shouldn't, get upset because a toy's out of place. But when you get to tell on yourself, you get to laugh at yourself, you get to forgive yourself, you get to love yourself, you get to be gentle with yourself. So what are your emotional drivers? And why do you have them?
We tell on ourselves. So think about like Al-Anon or those classes people go to. They say, I'm Tammy and I'm an alcoholic. The thing is, we forget to then let it go. So for us, we believe that once you tell on yourself, then you need to interrupt it and let it go. So we bring the truth out, but then it's not happening anymore. So we don't want to live there in that same old pattern any longer. So what are some of your drivers for anger? What things drive you to anger? It's really important to find out what is going to do that, what's going to trigger it.
We can help you we can help you guys. No, but I'm sure you have a few of them you can up the sleeve.
I'm so glad I have a way to let it go, guys, you know?
When someone does not accept, ooh, this is a good
Big
one.
one.
Okay, when someone doesn't accept my thoughts or my ideas, and I just want everybody to sit in that, right? Just find out all the times that someone does not accept your ideas and your thoughts, and I want you to notice what you're making that mean about you.
So
Because we're making it mean something about them. Like they're narcissistic, they're compulsive, blah, blah, blah. They are, not 100% in it or committed. Like we can dish out what it is, who they are, because they don't accept our ideas or our thoughts. But just look at it. Just look at it for you.
a
It's like,
lie. When they lie and can't be truthful, I still catch myself with that anger program right there. And when a spouse is not what I would consider reasonable, oh, good. They're not reasonable, so we should get angry, right?
ooh. They didn't accept my thoughts, so I'm going to get angry and I'm going to poke and provoke and I'm going to prove them. You're going to go to Google and you're going to be like, look at my thought. 1,000 people have the same thought. What's wrong with you? Right?
Yeah, prove them wrong. So who are we when we do this? If we're with somebody or we're believing that our spouse is not reasonable, who are we? If someone doesn't accept my ideas or thoughts, who am I? If I need to be right and somebody doesn't see that I'm right, who am I? So we can see, I'm coming up with I'm wrong, right? If I need to be right and they don't think I'm right, what does that make me? Wrong. If someone doesn't accept my ideas, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm unimportant, maybe I'm not noticed. When people lie to me, who am I? Someone they can take advantage of, someone they can manipulate, someone that's unimportant
Or
to them.
trust, or they don't trust me. Like they don't trust me, so they have to lie to me.
I'm untrustworthy. Yeah.
I'm the problem. Oh, how many of us have that program that you are the problem? Like that's why we take classes, that's why we learn something new. This is why we're always trying to prove ourselves right, because we feel like we are the problem.
Yeah. So we're going to admit it. I'm Tammy and I'm the problem. Let it go. Let it go. Let it flow. Right? Because when I think I'm the problem, I'm going to fight back and I'm going to defend and I'm going to be angry. But if I just admit it and I'm like, I'm not the problem, they don't like this or they don't accept this or they think I'm wrong or whatever they think, then doesn't have to be my fight.
That's big. That's big. I'm the problem. Oh, and I like this one. It's like, I'm the unreasonable one. Maybe just try that on for a little bit. See, when there's resistance, this is insanity, doing the same thing over and over. Unreasonable. People are liars. No one listens to me. My idea. The minute you accept it, like, okay, maybe my ideas aren't good. Maybe your ideas are better. Maybe I'm the unreasonable one. Maybe I'm the one that's not truthful. There's something that happens when that resistance will lift, and then you can see clarity, and you can be the witness, and you can be the observer, and you can just notice how now that person doesn't have to fight or resist or they can just be open. We're not saying this is right or wrong, I'm the cheater,
I have to tell a story about this one. So, I was cheated on and I thought, I'm supposed to turn this around and say it about myself. And I was
wait, you were what?
I was supposed to turn it around and say it about myself.
No. You said you got what on? It sounded like you said SHITTING on. But
No,
that's not what you said. I got cheated on,
I
not
got,
shitted on.
oh, I've had all of it. But okay, so he's the cheater. And then I turned it around. I said, I'm the cheater. And I couldn't figure it out. I was sitting there going, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I had a cheater in my head and it was him. So I am the cheater. And then all of a sudden it opened up. So here's how the resistance stopped. So I'm hateful. I'm angry. I can't be around him, can't see him, can't think of him, can't run into someone that looks like him or sounds like him. When my kids would act like him, I'm like, oh, I can't stand this, So I'm having all these problems because he was the cheater. So I turned it around. I said, I'm the cheater. And I sat with that for so long. And I was like, I am not, I am not, I'm not. And then I realized I'm cheating myself out of happiness. I'm cheating myself out of peace. I'm cheating myself out of a joyful life. And so then I realized I am the cheater. And then I let it go. And so sometimes when we turn it around, we can really, if we're willing to see how it is true in our life, it's so much, the resistance is gone and things can really change. I'm the bad guy. Yes. I'm the bad
And
guy.
I like when you notice I'm the bad guy, like if you sit in there and you notice I'm the bad guy, you could probably feel some emotions. You probably feel some hurt, some pains. I'm the bad guy, and because it's just a part of you. It's just a little part. If I say you are an elbow, you are
Eyeball.
an eyeball, you wouldn't get your feelings hurt. That wouldn't provoke you to be angry. If I said you are, you're a girl, and you're like, it doesn't mean anything because you're a boy. You know what I mean? So it's the meaning we are making in an unconscious, subconscious way. So when you say I'm the bad guy and you sit with it and you notice how you are the bad guy, because if you didn't believe it, you'd be like, it's like a little 5-year-old telling you you're the bad guy. You'd be like, oh, how cute. He thinks I'm the bad guy. I wonder what happened.
Oh, how cute.
That yeah. I mean, because can you imagine a little 3-year-old saying you're the bad guy? You're just like, because their language is limited, their emotional intelligence is limited. They can't really state what's going on because it's unconscious programming, right? But if you sit with I'm the bad guy and whatever shows up, you start doing the work, you start doing the interruption, you start redirecting your brain, and your brain will find where you really are not the bad guy, but you're the good guy, you're the loving guy, you're the giving guy, you're the gregarious guy, and then your brain can let it go.
Yeah.
That would be a quick flip.
So when you think of these words, I'm the mean one, I'm the bad guy, I'm unimportant, I'm the problem, I'm unreasonable, I'm the liar, right? If people are going to lie to you, I'm wrong, then those are the definitions where maybe there's times in your life where you can realize that, oh yeah, I have done that too. There's a part of you and there's a time and a place where you have done that too. And that just helps us be relatable with one another and helps us to realize like, oh yeah, it's better for me to let this go.
So yeah, so what I want you guys to notice, I want you to notice 0 doesn't bother me, 10 it's really strong. So go to your telling on yourself, who are you, or what was the drivers, your emotional drivers. So who are you when your ideas and thoughts are not being honored? Who are you? So find out who you are, because that's going to be your title that you want to work on. 0 doesn't bother me that I'm the bad guy. 0, 10, it bothers me that I'm the idiot because my thoughts aren't good enough for you to even think about it. Needing to be right. So who are you when you need to be right? Right? Who are you? I'm inadequate. I'm whatever
Forceful.
It is for you.
We're forceful.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
um, uh, I mean, there's some kind of like you got to make someone believe something else.
Yeah, to be right. When people lie or just can't be truthful. So who are you when that's happening? So find that maybe I'm not good enough. I mean, I don't know what it is for you, but find out what that is. Who are you? Because that's what we want to work on, because we want to be able to get that program and flip it and switch it. So this is you telling on yourself, what are your emotional drivers? Who are you? Who are you with that emotional driver? I am, right? And then 0 doesn't bother me, 10, it's really strong. And then we can find out who you learned that from. Who'd you learn that from? Who do you know who has that same issue? And that could be mom, dad, school teacher. And this is not to blame. This is just to be able to go back there and just notice how they did it. Notice how you decided that was a great program to have, because it helped you get here. It helped you to survive. It helped you to process your life by being or feeling that way. So who did you learn it from? 0 doesn't bother me, 10 is really strong. You want a title for that? So you got unworthiness. I am me. I am the mean one. I bet it came from my dad. Okay, so I am the mean one. So I want you to notice how you are the mean one. And just notice the truth of it. And then notice what's not true about it. And notice 0 doesn't bother me, 10 it's really strong. I am the mean one. Like, who are you because you are the mean one? Who are you because you are the mean one? Who are you because of the how you got treated? I'm unworthy, right? Okay. So I feel my wife is being the mean one, but I flipped it. Okay.
Say I
So
am good.
so yeah. So and another one you can look at for that is if she's being mean, who are you being? Poor me. I don't deserve it. I'm the victim. My power's taken. My assertiveness is ripped off. Like, so that. And guys, if this is bringing emotions up, I want you to breathe. Okay, I want you to be conscious. I want you to be aware. Breathe in and out of your nose, in and out of your nose, in and out of your nose. That's allowing you to be here, right? Because we can go there, but we're not going there.
Good. And where did you learn that from? Because that's
Hurt.
what anger comes from, right? Almost always is hurt or fear. And so there's a part of you that's just trying to prove that you're good enough and you're all of those things we try to prove worthy enough. And so we use anger as a program to do that. I'm the needy one who's hurt. And, we can ask, when were we first hurt? When did we first learn that feeling?
Yeah, and they also explore hurt. There's a part of us, that did get hurt back then, and this is now, but we want to heal that part and honoring that part and thanking that part for, taking it on and appreciating that it's gotten you here, right? That hurt part that could be now. What's the opposite of hurt? You know, you want to look at what's the opposite of hurt, and it's going to be different for anyone. So you find out what the opposite of hurt is, because that's going to be your golden ticket. That's going to take you out of that. Yeah, totally.
Good.
Nurtured. And so you want to look at the parts, because it's time for us to nurture ourselves. So it's time for you to nurture you. If that's your word, hurt equals nurture. And you got to see where you need to nurture yourself, because some of us are caretakers, right? Some of us want to take care of everybody. And so we don't nurture ourselves. Therefore, the hurt is very open.
Right.
You take care of yourself, you nurture yourself. Hurt is not even going to be in the mix, in the batter. You're going to be
can't feel hurt if you're doing it for yourself. And this is one thing, somebody might be the most beautiful person in the world, but if they think they're ugly, nothing in the world is going to change their nothing in outside of them is going to change that perspective of themselves, right? Because it comes from themselves. But if they were homely and they thought they were beautiful, no one's going to convince them that they're not beautiful, because it's what they believe about themselves. And Jeff, I want to point out, I was the hurt one back when I was a little boy and my parents were fighting with me in the house. So what we do inside of our head, watching our parents fight or knowing that's in there, is mean. I was working with a client and
mean, 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 not her.
Yeah, that's mean to do to yourself. Because when, I was working with a client and she kept saying, oh no, my dad was sick and my dad this, and he always had this, and I'm the helper. And so she connected, in order to be loving, in order to love someone, you have to worry about them and take care of them. And so this isn't that healthy for her, and it's showing up as unhealth. And so when we go back into that memory, I'm like, well, it's not really that nice to your dad to always have him be sick in your mind, right? It's our mind. It's our mind. So notice you're saying your wife is mean, but in reality, it's when you were a little boy, you were hurt, and it's mean to have your parents fighting inside your head. So that's how you relate to being mean as your wife is. But we just have to learn how to let that go. Because if our parents are fighting in our head, we're going to either come up against being angry all the time, or being the recipient of someone else's anger, because it's in here and we will project it and we will receive it.
Very good. Very good. And, Viola, I'm always taking care of everyone. So really, when you want to look at that program, I'm always taking care of everyone. I want you to notice when we have that, because I had that program where I can take care of everyone. That means what about me? Like, I'm not being responsible for myself. How can I? How can I be responsible for myself? Say that again.
Other people come first.
Yeah. So there's something we're avoiding, right? Or there's something that we're avoiding, domination or being dominated. Okay. So if we are taking care of everybody else, that means we don't have to put the focus on ourselves. That means we don't have to be responsible for our emotions, our finances, our happiness. That means we could always blame the other people. I took care of you and I took care of you, and you didn't do this for me. So that is a program I had. And what you want to look at is, what are you avoiding? Is it sadness? Is it disappointment? I was avoiding disappointment. I did not want to get disappointed. So what better way not to get disappointed about how I couldn't take care of myself is let's focus on other people. So what would it look like if you were taking care of yourself? I mean, it was hard for me even to look at that. Like I had no idea what it would look like. So you want to trade places with that little child, that little, person, and growing up, and what would be the things that that little person would need, and that would be considered taken care of. Maybe it's walking to the park and playing. Maybe it's playing in the pool. Maybe it's, having a watermelon. Maybe it's taking a shower. Maybe it's going to the dentist, taking care of your needs, right?
And Velia, this is interesting because you said, I'm the problem, right? Did you say that? Yes. And then later you said, they provoke you, I'm the bad guy. And then you said, I think that I'm really big on treat people how you want to be treated, and I'm unworthy. And that's very interesting. I think those programs go together often. And so what we try to do to be worthy is take care of other people. But we're literally, you said you're big on treating people how you want to be treated. We're literally not treating ourselves with any amount of kindness inside of our own mind when we think, I need to do this, I need to do that. What if dad wants this? What if mom wants this? What if my kids want this? What if grandparents want this? And all we're thinking about is them. And so we can become over caretakers because we feel unworthy. And that's the way we're going to get outside approval, because we don't know how to do it inside our own head and improve of ourselves.
Very good. Very good. So find that memory, that person, that event that just reminds you of all this, like just this, there's probably a lot of bridges, but go as far as you can and find that event, because that is the code of action that the brain uses to continue to use those emotional drivers to tell you who you are, when in reality, you want the total opposite of that.
Totally opposite. And it's interesting because we all have had traumas in our childhood, and we've all had those things that we wouldn't want to have happen to anyone else, but it's repeating for us. And so it's the repetition of that. That's why you get angry when there's a toy on the ground, or when someone lies to you, or like that might not bother somebody else, but it bothers you because of that, the childhood scenario that made it a big deal. Made the emotions high. I'm looking at it for myself. And Gordon says maybe it's signing up for a new class. Yes. I was reading Gordon. I wasn't sure what that means. Maybe it's signing up for Oh, he must have been answering you. Good. So let's go back to that little child that learned something from this time in your life when you're right. You couldn't control your childhood. You can't control your parents. And it's not controlling them that's going to change anything. It's controlling what you remember and what you think about.
Self-care, coming to a meeting. Exactly.
Oh, right.
Self-care, that is emotionally intelligent. That's an emotionally intelligent, because look, the best way to learn them is when you're not drowning in stress and emotions and traumas. So you guys are working that out at this moment, and so that is the best place to take emotional intelligence up to the next level. Look, you are where you are. If you're in kindergarten, you might go to first grade tonight, and then the next class it'll be second grade, and then third grade, whatever that means. And
so there might be small incremental improvements, or you might, have large steps, but always appreciate the growth. If we could work on one thing that will change our life so much, as being grateful and being grateful for our own body and our experiences and how, our desire is to grow. That's why we come to a class. I think Rita lost her service. So let's go to that moment that hopefully you guys have a memory that you remember where you were feeling I'm unworthy or I'm hurt. Whatever you wrote down here. I'm the problem. I'm wrong. Right? If we need to be right, then the program is I'm wrong. And notice how many times that has shown up in your life. Why does it keep showing up? Because it's in your head. Does that make sense? It's not showing up in somebody else's head. It's showing up in yours. The good news is you can do something about what's in your head. So let's go all the way back to the first time that you remember feeling that, because that is the emotional code. As Rita was talking earlier, there's a trigger and then an emotional code that's downloaded into your body, and it says, oh, feel this way, run these chemicals. I know we can feel hot when we're angry or shaky when we're angry, or when we're afraid, we can have different sensations. So go there and really experience it for a moment, how it was way back then. And just notice that how much it bothers you. We have some people that are at a 10 already. I want you to know that if it gets too big, just remind yourself you're right here. You're with us. Open your eyes, look out the window, pick out some red things in your room. If it gets to be too high, interrupt it. And that's very important for doing this for yourself. All right, Sharmila, see you later. And so now let's just go and feel this for the very last time. Who would like to feel this for the very last time? Not have to experience it again. Exactly. So it will change. There will be a different degree of it. It will be different, and that's okay. That's good. That's what we're hoping. That's what we're looking for. So experience it for the very last time. And the bigger it is right now, the faster it goes, right?
Yeah, do the beach metaphor.
Oh,
the
good.
Sand.
Okay. So just if the word I'm unworthy, or I'm no good, or I'm the problem, or I'm the, whatever your word is, was written on the sand. And there's this beautiful wave, and it's way out there, and it's meeting where the sunshine meets the water, and you can see the white tip coming in so gently, and you watch it come all the way up, and it starts lapping your toes, and it washes those words all away. What's left?
Nothing. Sand.
Sand, the real basic beginning, right? All right, so now we tap. We're eliminating and releasing. We're letting go of all this sadness. Look up, count blue things. We're letting go of all anger, resentment, and guilt. All the ways I use my parents to beat me up in my head. All the ways that I use my parents to make me feel bad in my head. All the ways I use my parents to feel unworthy. Let it go.
Let it go.
All
Needing
sadness,
to be right.
anger, resentment.
When people lie.
Oh, yeah.
Can't be truthful. Let it all go. Let it all flow. Let it all out. Vent it, switch it.
Flip it.
Lip it.
Make it nice again. It's your mind. Be nice in there. Take a deep breath in. Blow it all out. Squeeze your wrist and find that happy memory. I hope all of you have this feeling where you feel loved, or you just love something. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, I love that. It's so cute. It's so fun. It's so wonderful. It's so peaceful. Maybe it's a picture of a mountain. Maybe it's a mountain you've been on. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's a forest or a field or the tallest building in the city. Maybe it's the smell of a flower or the feeling of rain on your skin, whatever you love.
Or that one time you were nurtured by nature, by water. Whatever your opposite was, find that as well.
Yeah, nurtured. That's good for the self-care person. When you need self-care and you can feel nurtured inside yourself. What's the opposite of being hurt? Maybe whenever you were happy, what makes you happy? All right. So now what we want to do is when we go back to this memory, we want to notice what's changed. So it may be that first you experienced it visually, and now you're like hearing sounds that bother you. Or it may be that it looks further away, or it feels less strong. 0 to 10, just notice how much it bothers you now. Notice what's changed. Zero to 10. Anyone want to put a number in? How much does it bother them now?
You could be writing this on a piece of paper if you're not typing.
Driving.
And just, yeah, I mean, driving or
Dizzy,
whatever it is, sitting down, making dinner. Put a 10 on your spaghetti sauce. That'll remind you, or 8 or 7.
Good. So now what we want to do is just go back and do it again. We want to notice what's changed. Does it smell different? Do you see it differently? Does it feel different? Do you notice the faces differently? And let's go back and notice your expression. In this moment, in this memory, notice your expression. If it's not smiling and happy, then we let it go. Right? Sadness, fear, emotional trauma, judgment, abandonment, betrayal, anger, resentment, guilt, all the helplessness, hopelessness. I didn't get to pick my parents. My parents are bad. My parents are mean. My parents are angry.
Your parents didn't get to pick you either. Poor parents, they had to deal with you guys.
Yeah. It's not fair to them to keep abusing them in your head. Blow it all away. Peace. And now remember again that good, happy feeling, one where you feel loved or something that you love. Lights you up. Looking more to nurture those neurons, keeping new habits to build, nurture neurons. Good. Letting go of the disgust and shame. Good. 4 to 8. Perfect. All right. Stay in that happy place. Stay in that feeling. What do you love? Love to come home and your house smells good, or crawl between the sheets after they've just been cleaned, or maybe when you first drove your brand new car, or took a walk into the woods. That's a program too, so we can experience that more and more and more. Good. And go back again and let's notice what's changed. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for coming. Notice what's changed. It's your childhood. What is different? What is different? And this time, we're going to trade places. So now you're the mom or dad, or the brother or sister, whoever's in this story. Trade places with them. And look over at the little child you. What do you notice about that?
So powerful. They can just scream and yell and have a tantrum.
Yeah, they sure can. They're powerful. What else do you notice about that little you? Is she happy, worthy? Is he healthy and vibrant? Is he nurtured and cared for and loved? Is she honored? What do you notice about the little you? He's scared. Exactly. So it's okay to let go of that fear. And I want us to smile, really smile. It doesn't have to be a real smile. It just helps bring in good chemicals. We smile, or you can even use a pen, and your body will think you're smiling and it will say, oh, maybe we should let it go. Let go of all the fear, right? All the trauma, all the abuse. Let it go. Find something pink in your room. Find something purple. Find something blue. As I let this go, I realize how safe I am. I lived through it. I adjusted. I made it. We can tap backwards. We can tap our head and rub our belly. Smile. Does anyone have a dog? What does your dog say? What does your chicken say?
Pio, pio.
No, that's a rooster.
Pio.
A chicken says, ah, breath in.
Oh. What does an angry chicken say? Bok, 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 bok. There you go. Peace.
I caught some of my clients with that one. That was funny. We want to go to our happy place. We want to develop this really strongly. It's something that we love. We want to smell the breeze, feel the sun on our skin, see the stars at night, whatever it is we love. Yawn and let go of this sensation, right? Now let's go back and notice what's changed. Notice what is different about the scenario. If you could walk in there as an adult and you could help this be peaceful and loving, what would you do? You're the adult, the little you's there, the whole scenario is playing in front of you. What would you do to make this peaceful and loving for everybody there? And I understand that sometimes we are like, I would beat them up and I would kill them and take them out and put them in jail. But actually then that's still in our brain, all that stuff. So if we could make it loving and happy and joyful for everyone involved, how would we do that? Would you give them $1 million? Would you buy them all a puppy?
I'm noticing just being gentle, giving space, just understanding, just, slow to anger and patient, like being patient with ourselves, giving ourselves the love and the connection that we need. So if you're still feeling the opposite of something good, then that's where you want to look up, smile, let it go. That abandoned feeling, the loneliness, I let it go. It's only a feeling. It doesn't mean that's who I am. I let it go. Just for today, I want to let it go. For this moment, that loneliness feelings, all the ways I know lonely, all the ways lonely is, you're not even lonely. When you're lonely, that's your friend. That's your friend.
Deep breath in, blow it all out,
Peace.
and notice how connected, or what is the opposite of lonely? Notice how together you really are. Notice something in life where you are together, where you are connected. If we build the connected feeling, the togetherness feeling, we build that feeling, it can replay and replay and replay. So can loneliness. We can build the empowered feeling and it will play and play and play, and so will fear or being scared. Interrupt and direct, or your brain will automatically dump these chemicals from a long time ago. So go back and notice what's changed. I want to hear things that changed in this moment in time, so long ago that unfortunately you don't even remember it accurately, because you've been able to use it for something, this memory that's been driving you, but unfortunately it's not even accurate. So tell me some of the things that have changed in it. Is it a different color? Is it black and white? Is it further away? Does it feel different? Is
Yeah.
it playing
Is your
backwards?
dad doing something different? Maybe your dad's bringing a toy this time, or maybe your dad's, doing jumping jacks, or he's, singing and dancing instead of being, hot
Maybe
and
there's
heavy or
laughter.
heated. Yeah.
What is it? What are you noticing? Good. Allowing.
Yeah. There's
Let's
a
tap
part of you
that.
that's allowing. Yeah.
It's okay to allow myself to be happy. Even though I've experienced some things in life, it's okay to allow
Very
myself
good.
to be happy. Deep breath in. What brings a smile to your face? Think about that one thing that brings a smile to your face. Picture it, hear it, feel it. Now
Yeah,
go
it's
back
really
to the
important to feel it. Yeah. Feeling this, seeing this, the hopeful side, the happy side, the smiling side. And if you're noticing any resistance, this is where you start breathing in. Now your nose, use it's your brain, you're in charge of it. Redirect it to what you want more of while you're letting go of those last little bits of resistance. And just that resistance was there to help you. Resistance was there to protect you, but now you can say thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe, just maybe, I can let go of the last little bit of resistance. It doesn't serve me anymore. I'm not however old you were back then when this, I'm not 12 anymore. I'm not 10 anymore. I'm not 2 anymore. And tell yourself, how old are you? Tell yourself that part that is resisting. Say, how old am I? I am. Say it. Tell it to yourself. And there's going to be a realization like, oh yeah, I'm 48, I'm 45, I'm not 8, I'm not 3. Just allow that updating, because right now what we're doing is updating those resources that you're going to use against you because you don't no longer need it. Somebody would have told you when you were 13, like, hey, guess what? You get your own driver's license to drive your own brain, your own bus. We get our driver's license to our vehicle, but we never get our driver's license to our own brain. And I am issuing you your driver's license. Drive your own brain. It's yours. It's no one else's.
doesn't have to be driven by past experiences. They're not real. I'm not saying they didn't happen. I'm saying they're not real. When you think about something that happened in the past, your body thinks it's real. That's why we have panic attacks and anxiety and anger, because we think it's real. We have to protect and defend ourselves, and it's not any longer. Good. And Jeff, in that moment, tell your dad to leave for a few hours to cool down. How would you make your dad happy? So rather than have him have to leave, like, how can we make this even better? Like, dad's just laughing, dad's exercising, dad's dancing to music. So when we adjust this so that dad is happy and you're happy and everybody's happy, then nobody actually has to leave. This is part of the anger program, is loneliness. Am I correct? Yes. Every time I've worked with somebody, they separate themselves either so they don't hurt someone or so they don't get hurt. It's a very lonely place. So your dad had to leave last time. How about this time we look at it's okay for dad and mom and everyone in my family to be happy and be laughing. It's good for them to laugh. It's good for me to laugh. It's good for me to be in peace. It's good for my family to smile and enjoy life. Everyone can enjoy life in my head. Everyone can enjoy life in my head. Everyone,
In your
right?
head, in your body, in your thoughts, yeah, in your
Everyone can enjoy
feelings,
life in here.
yeah.
Good job. Deep breath in. Roll your shoulders back 3 times. Roll them forward 3 times. Move your neck around. Just notice that you're letting this go. And it's okay to see it, feel it, hear it, smell it, taste it, and be different this time. Okay. Really doesn't matter that it happens. What matters is that it happened and it's still driving your life because there's emotions attached. So let's go back and notice what's changed. Notice what's changed. Can you bring out a paintbrush and paint it the way you want it to be? It's a picture. It's a feeling. It's a smell. It's a sound. Would you allow yourself to repaint it, re-feel it, re-hear it, re-smell it? Zero to 10, what do you notice? Anyone want to share what has changed? If you're feeling happy enough and you're using this love, like, oh, I love puppies. And all I think of is a puppy, and I start feeling those chemicals of how exciting and fun a puppy is. When I go back and view my memory, when I go back and visit that old memory, things update. I'm like, oh, they weren't wearing those clothes, or oh, that didn't, now it feels soft like a puppy, or like, there's this smell of a puppy or something. It changes that memory.
Mhm.
Ah, Gordon has a puppy. Yeah. If we see a puppy, for those of us that love dogs, we
Yeah,
feel good. That's all we have to do. We don't have to try to feel good or bring up a great feeling. We just have to think of that thing we love.
yep.
So what's changed in that moment, way back in time, that's still being used against you? What is it? How's it different? Are you willing to let it go? Do you want it still driving you? Or do you realize that it really doesn't matter anymore?
I'm liking it. I can see, some of you might notice there's a little bit of space and dizziness, and it's your brain is literally rewiring. So it's really important to go to notice all the good parts, all the good parts, all the good feelings, because that's what you're programming yourself to. If it's love, if it's excitement, if it's respect, if it's a journey of continued progress and hopefulness and allowing, like, feel those, notice those, the picture brighter and livelier and people laughing and having a good time. Like, that's what we want more of.
Yeah. I used to be so scared all the time. And I remember I went back to a memory and I was scared to ask my dad if I could stay with my grandma and grandpa. And I was scared just because I was a powerless whenever he said no, wasn't allowed to ask again. And I was just supposed to sit and be quiet and not cry. And so when I went back and visited that memory again, and I was like, well, I want to stay at grandma's house. And my dad was like, no. And I said, oh, dad, I still love you, but I really want to stay at grandma's house. He's like, oh, okay.
So I'll see you later.
Yeah. It was like the real me said, it's still okay to ask again. And it's okay for dad to, what did dad need? He needed to be told he's loved, and it's okay. You can be the intelligent one, being even as a child, and then you can go
Mhm.
back and update it and say, oh, where dad was like, oh, yes, honey, I would love for you to enjoy so much fun. And I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. So it's fine for us to change those things. I still know the story the way that my child remembers it, right? The child inside me remembers the story. However, it's not controlling my emotions. I don't cry about it when I say it now, and I don't feel bad about it,
Mhm.
and I'm not angry at my dad about it. And that's just a little thing, but it meant a lot in my life because I always felt shut down, shut down, shut down. And it came just because of that simple little memory.
Yeah.
So
You'd be surprised what, which
little.
memories hold a lot. And those little details, it's also important as you're flipping these memories. You want to persist. The stop technique is persist, playful, until it's totally peaceful and completely transformed. Because those little, you can feel it, or you can see it, or just it's keep working on it, and
Mhm.
you can keep working on it. You have the tools to do it, throughout the week. Keep doing it, keep practicing the good stuff. Very important to practice the good stuff. First thing upon waking, go to the happy memory, go to the happy, how you wish it would have had happened. Go to that, like the memory that Tammy was talking about hers. Go to yours and keep building it. The more you embellish, the more fun it was, the more loving, the more joyful, the more nurturing, the better your brain gets to solidify it and get those grooves in there that are of what you want versus what you don't want. Yeah. And then start looking for the changes inside in your community, in your household, in your relationships. Start noticing, you'll start noticing more nurturing, more happiness, or more
Yep.
smiling. And it's so powerful, and it's all unconscious work. It's all unconscious work that's coming up. Yeah. Terry, let's do the three emotions or expressions from the new memory. Let's find those for them, or guide them
Oh,
to
right.
find that three.
So now look at this memory. Notice I'm hoping that you all have good changes. Nobody's really responding. And who are you now that this has been updated? Or if it hasn't all the way updated, like who would you love to be? So if we think about that memory with my dad, I would have loved to been empowered to speak, empowered to be um to get to do what I think is fun and I would love to do without having to feel guilty or bad for somebody else. So I could turn it into I'm empowered. I'm I'm ex- I'm able to express myself. So um
Self-expressed.
I communicate. I'm self-expressed. and I'm very happy. So those would be my three emotional states that I can gather from this memory. I'm
Updated memory.
updated memory. I'm empowered, I'm self-expressed, and then I'm happy. I'm happy. I feel like I deserve to get to be at my grandma's and enjoy it and have fun.
And when you notice those three new emotional drivers, now you have good emotional drivers that are going to drive you to have more happiness, more self-expression. And what was the other word?
And
What was
happy
your other
or
word?
um empowered.
Yeah, you're going to start noticing those empowerments, and really marinate in those, what it looks like, what it feels like. Who would you be with in this relationship, in this environment, in this event? Like, find the events that you can plant those in there for future. So now you're doing a little future pacing. So maybe you're with your partner, your wife, and you're noticing the nurturing from them to you, from you to them. And what would nurturing look like? Hand you a cup of hot tea, they give you a back rub. Like, what nurturing means, because it's in our heads and it's our idea of what that would mean. What would it mean to be happy? You want to start exploring that. What would it mean to be happy? Does that mean you have moments of just total gratitude? Tammy talked about gratitude earlier in the call. Guys, let me tell you, gratitude is the key to allowing more happiness, more joy, more nurturing, more empowerment. Whatever your words are, you get more of that. So, you want to close this out? We have 1 minute over.
Very good. Yes. So what I want you to practice is whenever this driver comes up and you're feeling that program start, and we're talking about the program of being unworthy or lonely or, whatever it was that we talked about earlier, hurt or anything like that. When you start to notice that program, I want you to go back to the little child memory and just enjoy it. Just for a moment, go back and remember, like, oh, that's right. And in the meantime, put a song to this memory. Put a song to, like, dad doing something fun with you, or Jeff, where he stays there and you guys are laughing, or maybe you're playing ball together or something, and just play that over and over and over, because it's going to give your body natural chemicals to help you feel good. And you will have automatic and effortless reactions. You'll be like, that's not how I normally react. And that's because you no longer have this memory pod, this thing inside your brain that's driving you to act just like they did. And isn't that empowering?
Yep.
Awesome.
And then next Monday, come with some wins, is what we call wins. So we want you to come with, I noticed this in my relation. I noticed this in my thought process. I noticed I didn't react, or I noticed things turned out, whatever it is, because it's important to recognize those, because then there's a peg there that your brain now is to, like, oh yeah, it worked at that time, it worked on this time. And so you can start seeing that new development and new programs
and writing those down solidifies it in your brain. There's a hand-brain operation that happens. So when something great happens and it's a whole different experience, write it down. When you think of a happy moment, write it down. If puppies make you feel good, write it down. Like, we call this the happy journal, and we can talk about that, at some point when you guys want to hear about it. Just, we're feeding the part of us we want to grow, and do that until we see you next time.